This is Glenn Campbell, speaking to you from a motel room in Jackson, Mississippi. Today's topic is the trauma of childhood. Each of us was born into a bubble. We were born into a fantasy land that was created for us by our parents to protect us from the outside world and to educate us on things that they thought were important. It was literally a Disneyland, filled with fantasy creatures like Snow White and talking animals and cartoon birds and things that don't really relate to the real world today. But they were essential to allow us to learn basic concepts, to learn the basic language, to learn the basic notions of right and wrong before we had to deal with the complexities of the real world. Because no baby is ready to deal with the real world all at once. It takes time, especially with humans. Humans have a very long gestation period. They have a very long childhood compared to other animals. The childhood goes on for 20 years or more in optimal cases. You have to learn the basic steps. You have to learn how to walk before you can learn how to run a marathon. And the environment that was created for us gave us the opportunity to learn these basic skills. The only trouble with this Fantasyland environment we grew up in is ultimately we have to leave it. We have to go onto a real world which operates according to different rules. No matter how good our parents were at modeling what they thought the environment we needed would be, there's going to be trauma when we discover that the real world works differently, because our parents can't prepare us for everything. There are things we're only going to learn because we go out there and we experience them. And largely we learn about the real world by being shot down. We have certain notions at the beginning about our value to the world. We were the cherished apple of our parents' eye. We step out into the real world, we find out we're not special at all. We're not going to get the special privileges we had in our childhood. It doesn't matter what your childhood was like at the beginning, whether it was a rough childhood or whether you were protected in a cherished environment. It's still going to be traumatic when you step out into the real world. I say this is the fundamental trauma of life, is moving from this protected environment you began with, where you learned your assumptions, into a more complicated world that does not obey the same rules. You're going to learn about this new world, by making mistakes. You're going to go out there and you're going to try things and you're going to be shot down. And you're going to have to think to yourself, what have I done wrong? What's wrong about my assumptions that has to be changed? Unfortunately, this takes most people a long time. Most people have to go out and throw themselves against the world again and again and again before they realize that the patterns I learned in my childhood do not work here. I have to change them. This is a very long process. If childhood takes 20 years, it's probably going to take you 20 years more before you've modified yourself to adapt to the real world. It's traumatic. It's a major step in the world. It doesn't seem like much, but you realize that everything you know about life came from your first few years of it. Not only did you learn your language, but you learned all the basic assumptions about how the world works. And because this environment was protected, it doesn't really prepare you well for this later environment you're going to encounter. Everything has been set up for you. If you're lucky, your parents want you to go on to college. They want you to get a good job. They want you to go through steps that they think are right, get you prepared for the real world. But if you're going to learn about the real world, at some point you have to take charge of your own destiny, of your own learning. You have to see that the world has not prepared you for certain things, and you have to go out and explore those things and figure out how your models need to change. That's the challenge of life. There's no other challenge that's greater than that, than figuring out how your childhood is wrong and how you have to modify it.